welcome to your Monday night edition of Not Another Rangers podcast. It's the last episode of 2025. And Merry Christmas to everyone, and I hope you all had a great time. What may have been a few days ago, nobody knows in this time. You don't know what day of the week it is normally, you don't know where you're at, but hopefully you all had a good time earlier. Was it last Thursday, 3-4 days ago? And that was also culminating in a win against Motherwell just 48 hours ago. So you'll see in the background we have a picture. So Ricky, and to commemorate Ricky, there he is there. If you want to move to that side, there I am there when you on the other side, and that wee tiny guy in the middle is Scott, for those that can't tell. So there he is there. On Saturday, the three of us met up at Ibrox at Esfin House for our first time. We all met together, I think, and as Ricky's back in Scotland, he's using the Arbroath Wi-Fi now, so he may cut out at different points in time. But he's been back, and the first 20 minutes of the pod has been dedicated to Ricky, giving us a review of his time back in Scotland. How are we, Ricky?
Great, mate. No, really good. It was great to meet us on Saturday. Edmonton House was a lot of fun before the game until we got to 2 o'clock and the queues were mental. We couldn't even get a drink. But it's good to hear what Big Jig had to say on the stage, and then NC So no, really enjoyed meeting up with you guys. As I said, it's weird when you feel like you're pals and you do a podcast together, but you've never actually met in real life. So it was great to catch up with you and have a few beers before the match. And no, having a great time in Scotland, mate. So any questions you have, fire away.
You know, and Ricky, I walked up to Ricky. Ricky was standing. Was it a first date for him? When he was standing there with a wee rose with his wee Ranger scarf on. Waiting for me to walk up to the Walter Smith statue, and his first words was like, as big as you all say in the comments. So that's it.
Exactly, man. Exactly. This Hightower, that was a bit. You're no Hightower in real life, mate. They've overestimated you.
Yeah. And Scott, you text us at 11:45 and says I'm going to be there en route now. It took you half an hour to get that 15-minute journey to Paisley. Before you arrived, and we were standing waiting, freezing at that Walter Smith statue, waiting for you to dip your wee head in the middle there.
Always late, Gary. I'm always late. It doesn't really matter when it is. Fashionably late, I like to call it. I was driving, by the way, so I was getting a lift. I had to wait in the lift coming. So there you go. That's my excuse anyway.
So Ricky, you've been back for a week. Do you know this? So I will kind of pick up on that. As you say, we went to Edmonton House. That's my first time in Edmonton House for a game before it. And I suppose just get your thoughts, because that wasn't there last time you were at a Rangers game.
No, it was excellent, mate. And I don't know why it's getting. I understand people are saying it's not big enough for concerts and stuff like that, but for what Rangers need, I thought before the game, I think you guys will agree, we were there about 12:30, and up until about 2 o'clock when it got obviously too busy, it was difficult to get a beer. It was absolutely fabulous. It was easy to get access to the toilets. The beer was good. That had the Hibs Hearts game on, which was a great watch as well, because it was obviously a really good game. So that was on in the background. And then you had Lee McCulloch and NCR up on the stage with obviously Broxy Bear and stuff like that. So my first time, I absolutely enjoyed it. And then the next day I went up and spent a bit more time walking around it because I was doing the Ibrox tour. I was a right tourist with my family yesterday, so that was absolutely superb. I couldn't recommend that to bears. If you've not done it, you've got to do it. To be in the dressing room, the blue room. My little boy was sitting in Andrew Kavanagh's seat. I took in a knife and I cut up Kevin Felwell's seat just because nobody's sitting in that seat ever again. But no, it was to see the history and actually walk around the marble staircase and stuff like that. So far, I was like a wee boy. That was my favourite part of Christmas, mate. So if you've not done it, I would highly recommend you do it. They did 7 tours that were all sold out yesterday. So the club is trying its best to make monies in other ways. And as a fan, it was on the pitch and everything like that. And to see it all right inside the heart of Ibrox I was like a kid on Christmas Day. It's my favourite part of Christmas so far, Gary.
Unfortunately, if your wife and your kids don't watch this, so it wasn't about spending time with them, it's about being at Ibrox and doing museum tour. Have you ever done the tour, Scott? I've done it a couple of times, you know, as outstanding.
I've done it not long ago. Me and my wife done it, and it was good. And when the museum just opened up for the first time, I've done it again. But I've done it a few times in the past. It's always good, even if you've done it before. It's good to go back and see things again, because things do change slightly. They do. Or it's still the same. It do change things now and again. But it's good just to go and see the dressing room, just to see inside Ibrox, and just to tour in your own team stadium again. It's because sometimes you forget how good it actually is to go and see. Because it's on our doorstep, we think it's always there. We just go into the game and back up the road, but there's so much else you can see, so it's good. But the museum is worth it. I really enjoy the museum. I have to say, I've done it twice now, and even the twice I've done it, it's great. You can spend a long time in there just reading all different things and looking through different things because you can pull things out and stuff like that. It's good.
And I don't know, Ricky, they changed a few years ago. The bit coming, you come out. I seen talk about it, come out the actual onto the pitch. Fantastic. The blue lights and the way it's all lit up. It's fantastic inside there.
No, amazing. Like, I mean, I ran out so I could see my kids' faces and stuff like that, and they're not even into football. But Simply the Best was on, Simply the Best, and what their little faces when they were walking down the tunnel, and to actually be, I'm surprised that the huge curve on the pitch is totally weird when you're on the halfway line. Like the pitch is not flat; it's got a huge curve. It's absolutely bizarre. Like when I saw that, I thought the pitch would be dead flat, but no, it was great to be pitch side, and you just feel it. I mean, how these players don't get a buzz. They must feel so special playing at Ibrox every time. It's one of the best stadiums in Europe. I know there's little bits of it that could do with a little bit of TLC here and there, but the actual history of the place, I prefer it much over these brand new soulless stadiums that are just thrown up in concrete for like however millions. But the history at Ibrox, everything about it was absolutely fabulous, and I'll never forget it. And in the future, I'll do it again. The more that I come back, like you say, the little changes, you want to see everything. And I'm sure you never get tired of doing that tour, Gary. So well done to Rangers. And the trophy room, the trophy room was absolute. Everything about it was class. The blue room, the manager's office. I wanted to rip Russell Martin's picture. I tried to steal it and take it off the wall because it shouldn't be up in there. But I suppose that's just the protocol and stuff like that. But every single part of the tour was absolutely brilliant, Gary.
Even the bits like the media room and things like that, where you watch the press conferences all the time, just actually seeing how it all looks.
Yeah, it was interesting, and even the bit where all the fan media, there's that many of them doing vlogs and that sort of stuff. Even to see that bit when you're down there, it's right in front of the director's box. Just to see everything, mate. It's fascinating, and it was a lot of fun.
Last question then before we go. Did you buy anything? Went to the club shop then? Did you go? I was there today and I looked around and bought myself my daughter bought me a new hoodie for Christmas.
Yeah, I bought a couple of tops and one hoodie as well because like Kerr said before when we were in Edmiston House, there's a lot of good sales on and a lot of bargains on. So I had to take advantage of that. My little boy was wanting old football, but it's tough to get that back to Cyprus. You know, the old football they've got that's in the shop up the steps beside the museum. He wanted that, but I was like, nah, I'll not fit it in the suitcase. But plenty of bargains to be had, mate. Get along. There's a lot of stuff on sale, so it was great, and a lot of stuff to take back to Cyprus, which I'm very happy about.
Superb. And Scott, you know, just when Ricky was talking about the pitch, so for however many years, I can't remember how many it was, for 10, 15 years, we sat together right at the very centre circle, in the front of the Govan. You can actually see it. When it was literally with the pitch, because we were right at the very, very front of the Govan, you could see the way the pitch went, and if it was over at the dugout, if the ball was over the dugout, we couldn't actually see the ball, if I remember rightly.
I know, it's always been like, you just forget, don't you, because we're up the Brimley near now, it's different view you get from you're in the Govan, you're in the Govan stand, you've seen that because we were down the front, and it's strange, doesn't help to have free kicks right enough, does it, Gary?
He scored a few I guess there. Not recently.
Not recently, no.
Not recently. So anyway, that's our. So as Ricky says, get yourself along to the museum, the tour, and the club shop because there's deals to be had. And I think it's good. You know, sometimes we get a bit. Me and Scott get a bit. We go every week, and you maybe take it for granted some of the time. I think we do take it for granted some of the time. You know, I think we said that as we're walking, and you were like a kid in a candy shop, as I say, all excited to go in. And we probably don't have that same feeling because we get to experience it every second week, effectively. So it's really interesting to hear how exciting, how enjoyable it was actually, even though it wasn't the most atmospheric game you'll ever be at.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's it. It's because you've not been there for a few years, and because I don't get back to Scotland that much, and I've always got stuff planned when I come back. But I wanted to meet you guys because we do the pod together and catch a first match in ages. And I was like a kid in a sweetie shop. It just felt like the first time. It felt like the memories when you were 15, 14, the first time you went and you saw everything, the size of it. You forget the size at Ibrox and the smell with the burgers, it just brought back kids. I mean, I'm 47 and I felt 15 again, mate. I was absolutely buzzing. I was pissed off with Kerr because he was so wet because we were wanting some beers. But apart from that, nah, we don't care. We were good. We were good. And the timing was good, mate. So I had a great day Saturday, great day Sunday. So perfect weekend for me.
And just taking away from football very briefly, since you have been back, Ricky, for the last 2 weeks, what's been your best, other than going to the Rangers stuff, what's been your best part of your back home with the family, spend some time?
No, just catching up with family, mate. My kids are getting a bit older now, so they're remembering things. They're 9 and 6, so just spending time. The weather's actually not been that bad, Gary. It's been quite mild in that, so I've just been catching up with family and that in the north of Scotland, and then I'll be going to Crieff for New Year with my best mate and his kids. Got a nice lodge planned there on a loch, so nice cooking, some nice beers, some nice wines. So it's always great to come back to Scotland as a tourist, mate. Not to live because it's too cold, but as a tourist, you can't beat it. And just travelling around, I've been in Edinburgh, I've been in Glasgow, I've been in Arbroath, I've been in Montrose, Forfar, Brecon, Castles, you name it. So we've been doing a bit of everything, and it's been great. It's Christmas. It's more Christmassy in Scotland than it is anywhere abroad. So it's always great to come back for Christmas with the kids, mate.
And for those listening and watching, I mean, that's not like a TripAdvisor thing, going to Arbroath, Montrose, and all these other places. It's not exactly. We were saying the podcast about Arbroath and Monaco of Scotland, in it. You know, it's great places to visit, is it?
If you like the smell of fish and you like to be freezing cold, man, it's you could call it something in Scotland, but I was just winding you up because I was swagging it on the pod, and there was a few folk wanting to beat me up in Arbroath after that, so I had to give it some credit and get some visitors back to Arbroath. No, it's all right, mate. It's a small town. It's all right for the size of it. It's got a few good things going for it, mate.
So anyway, as Alan said, that's enough about Saturday. So I think he doesn't want to talk about the game. That's unfortunate. I've stalled for 15 minutes or so, just like chit-chatting in general. We are going to move on to the game, unfortunately, Alan. And you know, in fact, my first question is going to come at you, Scott, right? So we had 28 shots at goal and expected goals of whatever, four. And it still gets a lot of criticism. I've listened to a lot of pods, or listened to a few pods, and I was up at my dad's, I think yesterday, the day before, and he was saying, you know, he's a bit fed up listening to everybody complaining about how negative. He watched the highlights, he watched the stuff, and actually Rangers looked to have done all right. And there's this general malaise every single game, irrespective of whether they win, lose, or draw, that people just seem to be a bit grumpy.
That's the way it's going at the moment, isn't it, Gary? Everybody likes a moan. If they win, we moan. If they get beat, we moan. If they draw, we moan. And if they don't score enough goals, we moan or whatever. And listen, I thought the game on Saturday, apart from the first 15 minutes where Motherwell kind of bossed it and probably should have been ahead, I thought after that we played okay. I thought the more the game went on, the better we got, and we did create some chances. We just can't finish, unfortunately, at this moment in time. But it was a good game. Both teams played well. Motherwell were a good side, and I mean, I watched the highlights back. I didn't watch the full game back, but it was a decent game. I have to say, I'm just saying that it was. I mean, I said to you, I sent a message. I think to say first 50 minutes, we were bossing us, but I said to you at half time, we started to come into it, and we probably sat there expecting a lot more because we want a lot more. Do you know that way? And sometimes you don't always get what you want, but
as the Rolling Stones once said,
aye, I know, as Mick Jagger used to say that, but we didn't play that bad. We weren't. I'm not saying we were fantastic, but we actually created some decent stuff. We played some decent stuff. Jack Buckland played really well. Motherwell played some decent stuff. It was actually a good game of football if you're just watching a game of football as an neutral. But as a Motherwell fan, you're probably disappointed not getting anything. And as a Rangers fan, you're probably happy with 3 points, but you wanted a few more goals.
Yeah. So, Ricky, what about yourself then? So, first game back, as you say, for a few years. I think there's been lots of criticism. You listen to every podcast going, you maybe not at the time, really, the last couple of days because you've been family stuff. But it has been quite negative about how we can't do this, we can't do that. But as a game of football itself, Motherwell are a decent side. They played well. They played some nice stuff. We could have scored numerous goals. You know, I think was it as critical as some of the criticism gets?
Yeah, I think to be honest with you, I agree with Kerr. I thought the first 20 minutes, Motherwell seemed to come out the traps a bit better than us. They were pinging the ball about. They were playing through us, and it was a strange game. It was quite a decent game. They had, if you look at the stats, we probably looked like we dominated. But I think the end of the game maybe tilted the stats a little bit in our favour. If you actually look at, say, the first 80 minutes, I mean, how we never scored a second goal after that, I'll never know, but we'll get on to that, Gary. But for the first actual 80 minutes, the game was pretty even. And it was a story of both goalkeepers, because I thought both goalkeepers were excellent. We gave Butland a lot of stick after the Hearts match, but I actually thought he was man of the match. Always saves. I mean, his distribution's still a little bit ropey, but the saves that he pulled off for us, and the Motherwell keeper was the same. He had some good saves, but it's like, I'll be honest with you, seeing Rangers in the flesh, Gary, I'm not going to sit on this podcast and be too critical, because we got the result. We're getting results except for the Hearts match, but we need to get to this January window, because when you actually look at the team, you see what we've spoke about in the past. That our team lacks a lot of connections. We don't have the connections between the fullbacks on the left or the right. Magoma and Gassama, who actually, I thought Gassama had a really good game. I thought it was his best game in a while. And but there's no connection. They don't know. One of them runs, if Gassama's running forward, Magoma runs back into left back position, and the same, vice versa. It's like, what's going on, guys? Why are you not trying to play the ball to each other? And I thought Tav and whoever was down the right, I just didn't think there was that much connection. You wanted to see a bit more connection with the team. I still think we're a moments team. We did create some decent chances in that, Gary. Shermiti, I mean, Jesus, there's a lot of stuff, people saying that he played all right and stuff like that, but his actual job is to put the ball in the net. And some of his finishing has to be seen to be believed. That's that chance in the second half. Me and the guy that was sitting next to each other just burst out laughing at each other when he tripped over his shoelaces and tripped flat on his face, mate. That was absolutely class. But no, we got the victory. That's the main thing. I mean, I think that's the way that we're pretty much going to be until we get that 3, 4, 5 quality players in our starting 11. I think Rowe was keeping clean sheets. That's us now got the best defensive record in the league, mate. But until we get that quality in our lineup and actually see some connections, Rowe was just basically scratching, and he's getting results, so we can't ask for no more. Hearts losing at the weekend brings all the teams pretty much where we were at the start of this block of games. They've beaten us. We've taking care of everyone else, and Celtic are starting to win again. So it's still that, like, 6 points to Hearts, 6 points to Celtic if everyone wins their games in hand. So positives, Gary. We got the result, and then we'll see where it takes us. If we can beat St.Mirren, and then the results can go in our way through the week, then that result looks fabulous, and we just need to keep winning until we get some new players in, Gary.
Yeah. I'll start with you briefly, Ricky. So there was 3 changes before the game. So Moore, Miovski and Aarons went out, I think. And then came Chermiti, Gassama and who was the other one? My midfielder.
Oh.
There's no point in shouting me on mute. I don't know what you're saying.
Asgard.
But before the game, Ricky, we were saying that I really don't want to see a 3-5-2. So I was quite encouraged when the team came out, and it was a 4-2-3-1 or whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, that was it, mate. I don't like the 5, whatever it is. If it's 3-2, if it's whatever you want to call it, if it's supposed to be 3-5-2, whatever it is, I just don't like it at all. I prefer this. I prefer we ever go 4-4-2 or we go 4-2-3-1 is much better for me. So I was happy. I wasn't happy to see the players that came into the team, but I think what he spoke about at the end of the match, Asgard's been doing well in training, and he's rewarded the way that he's been doing in training with his another chance in the starting 11. If he deserved that or not, I'm not so sure myself. There's a few other players that I don't think deserve to be in the 11, but we're winning football matches. And while we're winning football matches, it's very difficult to just slate absolutely everything that's going on, Gary. We just need to take wins until we get to January for me just now, mate.
And Scott, let's say the first 20 minutes, first 15, 20 minutes, Rangers were struggling. Motherwell playing some nice football, passing about. I like the way they moved into space all the time to pick up the ball. So they had a couple of chances. I think one down the right-hand side had a shot at goal, and one down the left-hand side as well. But Bartlett made 2 good saves. But I think Rowe said in his interviews after the game that after 15 minutes he changed the press, moved Asgard a bit further forward and kind of tweak the tactics to adjust it, and then the game started to change. But that first 20 minutes, I suppose on Motherwell, I just thought they looked a good side. Maybe no penetration, no real cutting edge, but they play some nice stuff.
They do, Gary, but it's very predictable, isn't it? Everything's quite samey. I think once we sorted ourselves out, they had to do slightly different because they were putting out for the back quite a lot, and it's the same ball. Centre half, he switched it, and then he put it down the wing, and we were getting caught out constantly with that same pass because the press wasn't great. We did switch it up a bit, as Gar, you say, he did come a bit higher. Who I thought came into a game, I thought he started slow, but I thought he'd get better as the game went on. I'm not sitting here saying he's a world beater, but I just thought he'd get better, and you can only see what you can see. I thought he'd get better. He scored the winning goal for us, and he's a confidence player, I think, Asgard. He's not even playing well. He's admitted that himself, but I thought he was trying more. I thought he was trying to put a wee bit more dig in. I thought he was showing a bit more character, which he hasn't shown before. Is it enough? No, we want to see more. But same as Shamiti, I thought he was trying a bit more. I thought he was putting himself about more than he has previously. And we can sit here and slag them all, but when you're seeing guys trying more, you can appreciate it more for them because they might not be up to standard, but we want or what we require, but you can see they're trying. Whereas before you were saying they don't look interested, but I thought the two of them put a bit more effort in on Saturday. Others didn't, but I thought they have been criticised, but I thought the two of them, I thought Schmidt led the line okay. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say he's ever going to be a star striker for us. I don't think I see it myself, but I thought you've paid that money for him. He's not got a lot of options up top. Miovski's a bit hit and miss. Daniel's push and Schmidt's hit and miss as well, and we're trying to be lucky to play one who can grab a goal, and Rose doing what he can, Gary. I've said it before, there's no criticism in him at all for me. Slightly maybe on subs and maybe tactics and stuff, but that's kind of just trying to criticise for sake of it sometimes, I feel, because what he's done, he knows we don't score a lot of goals, so he's trying to make us hard to beat and say, well, if we don't score a lot, we can't really concede, so if we don't concede, maybe we only need one, and that's what we're trying to do. Maybe that's not going to be enough at times. I just seen at Hearts last week, but I was doubting more individual errors than it was the manager's fault. So I can see what he's trying to do with what he's had to play with, and you have to give him a bit of credit for that. You can't keep just criticising.
Yeah. So 20 minutes. So after 20 minutes, the next 25 minutes, if I remember, we had a couple of chances. Gassama should score. I think Barron hits one. The keeper saves it. Goes back to Gassama. He should finish it. And a few other. Asgard kind of dances through 2 or 3 players and hits one just by the post. But by that point, we were in control, but not really creating a lot. Scott, we weren't actually. As you say, I suppose, go back to that point, we don't necessarily look like scoring, but we were pretty much in control of the game, although they also kind of catch us at times when they're on the break.
Yeah, they're gory. I mean, that's the way Motherwell kind of play, but they were getting a lot of good positions. I don't know if it was Elliot Ward you call him, I don't know, but the one of the boys who was constantly. He was getting good positions and he was making side real passes, but he was constantly move. That's why I took Motherwell when they had the ball. The midfielders didn't stand still, whereas I thought Rosson came into a game slightly more in the second half. I thought the first half he was struggling. Dio was struggling the whole game for me. He deserved to be off sooner than he probably was, and I thought Conor Barron was superb again, but there's not enough movement in the middle apart from me. No, there is. I thought Taylor came into the game, Asgard came into the game in the second half, and big man up front, as he was holding it up, but we need more movement, Gary, don't we? There's not a lot. I know a lot of time we play the long ball. Sometimes that does work because football is going more
direct again,
more direct, but we need a wee bit more movement. We've got it. Conor Barron does a lot of work, and sometimes he's doing a lot of work for 3 guys, and that shouldn't be the case. I think we need to see more from Nico Raskin, far more. But dear Mandy, for me, needs a rest. He needs to be taken out of fire line for me for a while. I don't know if his confidence has dropped, his performance levels are just been left out of the AFCON. I don't know what's happened, but he's no the player there. Apart from trying things on the half turn, he does nothing. Yeah. People say he works hard, but I don't even see that. I just feel he runs for the sake of running. And whatever way he's facing, I just feel he's so far out of form, he shouldn't be involved.
No, I'd agree. I think, I suppose we'll pick up with a couple of players the first half then, Ricky, just on that. So Diamandi did struggle and has struggled for a while, to be honest. His passing's not been great. He's 9 times out of 10 he fouls somebody when he's in for a tackle, and he's not really getting involved in the games particularly, and that was the same on Saturday. You know, Gassama, as you said, started pretty poorly the first, but then get better and better as game. But Diamandi's probably the one that was probably struggling most. I think Tav had a pretty poor game again. McGillman never done enough a lot, but I think Diamandi's the one that was kind of obviously just not surprised to go inside after, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think we're quite poor in midfield. We're losing the midfield battle. We lost the midfield battle against Hearts. We've got some big games coming up, and okay, we maybe got a bit of a grip of the game, but that was more Barron running about like the Duracell Bunnyman. I mean, he doesn't have the quality of a Raskin, maybe Barron, but I tell you, he's got the heart and desire of 3 men in that midfield, and the fans all around about me were really appreciating his effort and what he was doing. And just that's all it is. That's all he needed to do. He wasn't he wasn't being spectacular or anything like that. It's just basically running around making tackles that Diamandi and Raskin should be doing. And the fans around me were loving it. And Diamandi got the complete opposite, what he absolutely deserved. When he came off, there was a few boos which were completely deserved because I don't know. I mean, how many years is that? It's 3 years, coming up for 3 seasons he's been at Rangers now. And bar a few handful of performances, Gary, we need players that do it in the Scottish League if we want to challenge for the title, mate. And for me, he's just a passenger. I don't know. We keep thinking, is another manager going to get more out of him? Is another manager going to get more out of him? And it's pretty much the same performances. He's on the park. He can get involved and I'll give you a little bit of dig, but actual quality, we've got too many midfielders that are the same. We need someone that's creating chances or getting involved in the game. I still like to see Moore in the middle of the park. I don't like seeing Moore out wide. I don't think it suits him. I think you need to give Moore what we used to do with Wildrop and give him a free roll and let him influence the game. I think that's what he likes to do. Give him that confidence and go, look, mate, forget about defending. You just accept the ball and you do what you're supposed to do. So why Diamandi was playing in that position, Asgard was out of position playing on the right side of the midfield or right wing, which was just bizarre. It was a quite weird decision, but we got the result, so you can't really attack Roll for it. But we need to see a lot more from Diamandi. We really do. I thought Raskin came on to a game and was a little bit better in the second half. He was driving forward, but I still think we're not getting to see the Raskin that was seen under Barry Ferguson, like the guy that was really angry and he was lighting a fire under him and getting the best out of him. So it's basically Barron who's doing all the work just now in midfield. And like fans will maybe not like this, but I think you agree, Gary, you can actually question whether Barron is actually good enough in a title-winning team. Yeah. He's good enough just now. He's good enough just now because the other players around him are so poor. But is Barron a number 6? Is he good enough for a team that's going to challenge for a title? As a squad player, for me, absolutely definite. But is he a starting player? Is he good enough for a team that you would say that you want to dominate for years in the Scottish League? He's our best midfielder just now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens against St Mirren, because I'd like to see a few drop. There's a few players don't deserve to start. We'll speak about Tav and that, and we'll speak about the defence moving forward later on in the discussion. So it's going to be interesting to see the way that Rowe is going to go on Tuesday night. I think he's probably rotating the squad. We were surprised with a lineup when we seen it when it came through at 2 o'clock. But I think he realises he's got so many games that are away to happen over this Christmas period. He needs to use the squad. So maybe he thought this game at Ibrox was a good opportunity, that he was seeing enough in training from these guys. So I think there will be changes. I think Moore and a few others will come into the lineup for St Mirren, and I think that's what needs to happen. I think Diamandi now needs to go to the bench and watch a few games from the bench and play his way back into the team. If the penny doesn't drop, as his tournament is going on just now and he's not taking part in it, he's playing still in Scotland when he should be over there. And if he starts playing bad from Rangers, he's only got himself to blame, Gary. There's no hiding place for him. So he's got to start putting in the performances, or at the end of the day, he'll go to a worse team than Rangers and he won't be picked for the Ivory Coast, and it'll be all his own fault.
Yeah. So we're getting to the second half. I'm going to pick up maybe 4 key elements of the game. So I also like to cover some of the previous St Mirren game and some of the other stuff that's been happening. So we score a goal, Scott, very early on in the second half. I think it's maybe about 52, 53 minutes when the Gassama gets ball, cuts it back, and Raskin finishes. At the time, to be honest, I never knew what the reason was that was being disallowed. I've since watched it back, and Chermiti is deemed to be interfering with play, I think is the. I've only watched it once on my phone and sports scene. It seemed to me I thought he was behind the keeper, so I'm not sure if you're interfering if you're behind the keeper. But that was a decision. I'm assuming you thought the decision was fine. No issues with it.
No, Gary, I think nowadays that's offside. I think the decision was fine. At the time of the match, I didn't see what was. Obviously, it was the other end of us, so we didn't. I just thought Raskin had put it in the net, and it was a decent goal. But these things happen, don't they? I mean, we've had a few goals disallowed for offside over the past, and other teams have as well. And that's what happens nowadays, Gary. You score a goal and everybody starts to jump, and then you suddenly think, I better not start celebrating yet because everything's checked, and it's just the way football is. But no, I think it probably was the right decision. Even though the referee was poor and thought VR was poor as well.
Yeah. So we do then start to make substitution. I think Diamandi comes off at that point and Moore comes on, and we're pretty dominant in the game. We're controlling the game, and we eventually get the goal. And again, really, do you know what? I pick up this goal, so I thought that, and I'm going to come to you both on this. So the goal was the first time I actually seen us play proper football, really, in some ways, actually. So I think Butland gets the ball out quickly to Tav. Tav plays it to Barham, who makes a really good run to the right hand side to pick it to move into space. Gives it to Gassama, who obviously makes a good run, cuts inside on transition. That's a shot that he does frequently, and obviously has Gaz there to finish. But that shot all round play, played at pace, played at speed, played with movement. And actually, the things we've been crying out for a lot of time, it doesn't seem to happen as frequently as it should.
I always think Gassama, I mean, it's just me, but I think he looks okay on the right hand side. I think the left hand side he maybe tries too much. I think the right hand side he kicks in quite a lot and just has a dig, and that's what I like to see. And I thought Asgard's awareness was really good because he could have been offside, but some of the strikers usually are. He might not have been there, but he knew where the ball was going to drop and he just slotted it in, and it was a happy. But you said it was a well worked goal, and that's what Gassama can give you. Just cut inside and shoot instead of this trickery stuff and then hitting the byline and not getting the cross or try to beat somebody 3 times. Just keep it simple, and if you do that, there you go. You can get a goal from it. Do you know what I mean? Because 9 out of 10 times the keeper's going to push it out, isn't he?
And Ricky, so it'd be remiss of me not to come to you. Do you know, having seen your first goal at Ibrox for a couple of years, and you're sitting up way back in the depth of the club deck, looking down at these wee ants, trying to see what's happening in the game. But that was the one and only goal you experienced at Ibrox. So just your thoughts on it, your views on it. You're looking down at a good angle, probably to see the whole passage of play.
Yeah, no, I mean, we had a few of them in the second half. I still stand by the team was lacking connection, but we actually had some good passages of play. Were moments where Gassama actually, I thought, came on that game. As I said, the best. He actually looked like a winger. He was quite dangerous. He wasn't just doing his one-trick pony thing where he sort of comes in and always tries to shoot and doesn't cross the ball. And it was fast play. It was going back to the way that we used to play under Gerrard in a way. It was one touch, like intelligent players in the right position, players anticipating. And it was a good strike from Gassama. First time probably their goalkeeper parried it right into in front of Asgard, who tucked it away from a decent angle. I've not actually watched the match back. I've only watched the highlights, the same as Kerr. I've not had time to sit and watch it. So it's actually interesting because you see a bit less when you're at the game than you do actually watching it because you're not seeing the replays and stuff like that. But I thought we had a few moves like that in the second half, and we'll touch on it, Gary, but that last 10 minutes, how we never scored a second goal should be studied with how it's possible to have so many breakaways and no manage to score a second goal. It was incredible. And the one for Chermiti would have been like up there. That was an even better move. The one where he trips over his shoelaces and falls flat on his face. That was beautiful play again, and then it was laid on a plate for him, and all he had to do was get a clean strike on goal, but he tripped over the ball, mate. So there was a few moves like that in the second half, and hopefully Rule can take that into the St. Mirren game, because the St. Mirren are going to give us probably a different challenge than Motherwell did. Motherwell play free-flowing football. St. Mirren are more up and at you. So it's going to be a different challenge for Rule. But if we can play like that, because no team can live with you. If you play like that in Scotland with that one-touch fast movement, players in the right position, players anticipating, players just not taking too many touches on the ball and being direct. That's how you break through teams, and that's how you score goals. against teams, and that's why our XG and our stats look so good for the match on Saturday. So we need to keep that going and take that. And to be fair to Rowe, when you look at the improvements since he's came in, I'm not a graph man, I hate all that stuff, but when you actually look at it since he's came in, it's been improving in both directions. We're creating more chances now, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it, and we're conceding a lot less goals. We've got the best defensive record in the league now, so there is improvements under Rowe, and how he's managing to get that out of these players, I'll never know. I still stand by that this group of players, when they have to stand up and play in the big matches that are coming up, would absolutely worry them to death, mate. But if they can keep getting results and stay in touch and distance and add that players in January, then it gives us a fighting chance. I still don't think we're going to win the league this year, Gary. I think we're dreaming a little bit. But if other team keep dropping points and we can get a few in January, you never know, mate. But
yeah. So we're coming out to the last 10 minutes, Scott. So we I can't remember. There's lots of subs, lots of changes. Curtis has come on by that point. Cameron comes on in the last few minutes. We have, I think there's at least 4 occasions when we've got 4-on-1 or 3-on-1, potentially 5-on-2, whatever it was. You know, there was, my daughter looked round at me after I think the last one, said, I honestly don't get this. I don't understand. How can you keep messing this up? Do you know, it's just bizarre. They obviously Motherwell going for it. They're flinging everybody forward, and we are counter-attacking. You know, and either the wrong option, be that Miovski mishitting a pass back, or Curtis blazing over the bar, or Cameron not putting enough power. So lots of different chances. Which, bizarrely enough, just as a point, Sportsy never showed any of them. If you watch Sportsy, they never even mentioned them.
I think it's just a case of lack of confidence, urgency. They're desperate to score, so they maybe trying too hard, and sometimes you've got too many options. We did have breakaways and we should have done better. And you usually practice that sometimes in training, like 2-on, 3-on, 4 or 4-on-2 and stuff like that when you're breaking, just to see how you would go. But I don't know what it is, even like you said, they took the wrong option over hit a pass, under hit a pass, shooting over the bar, and I think it's easy to score. And I know the lads are desperate to do the right thing, but for some reason it's not working out at this moment in time, and when you're wanting it to, and I don't know what it is, Gary. I maybe I'll click at some point, but we don't know when. But like Rowe was frustrated, you could tell after it, and so will the players being, because they all know they should have scored at least another one goal, especially in the last 10 minutes, because there's enough chances, enough opportunities, and it's just picking the right pass into it, picking the right time to go, picking the right options. And I mean, Cameron's come on desperate to prove a point, so it's Curtis, and both of them had chances and they never took their chance. And it's hard because you want to see his scoring goals. I thought Miovski had an ideal situation for him when you're breaking like that, but it didn't work out the way we all wanted it to, and I don't know what it is, Gary. We were too desperate, to try and score to finish the game off. I don't know what it was, because we should have done it, but we never.
No. And then I suppose the other big talking point, Ricky, and before I go on to a couple of players, was the penalty, or alleged penalty, that the Motherwell boss was completely raging that he didn't get. And if you watch the sports scene, and the Rangers women manager and Stephen Thompson saying they thought it was a penalty as well. So against the Rangers women's manager, should maybe be a bit more tactful on that. But it's a different debate. Exactly. I thought. But anyway, the boy, I can't remember his name, it runs through. Sterling Fernandez does probably leave his leg out more than he should, and a little bit lazier. But the guy flings his leg into him and then kind of falls over. Do you know? I think Dermot Gallagher the day was on saying it's not penalty, basically, for what I've gathered.
I mean, it's the same every week, Gary. It's exhausting. The most boring thing about being a Rangers fan is going on X after we play every single week, and they have to find, it's the same people, they find one decision, and you have the usual suspects. You'll have Michael Stewart on Monday saying it's a clear penalty, he leaves his leg, he moves his leg into it, and then everyone else, it's a snowball effect, and you have basically, you've got a pie chart, and you've got 50% that hate Rangers saying it's a clear penalty, and then you've got 50% saying get a grip and walk away. I mean, Skies know exactly the oracle. Not everything they say is absolutely spot on and true, but it was never a penalty. I personally don't think it's a penalty. I think the guy, Fernandez, like, okay, there's minimal contact, but he plays his leg into Fernandez to try and win the penalty. to be fair, I thought the ref was terrible, but I thought on that occasion he was up to play. He was looking directly at it. And for me, it was never, ever, ever a penalty in a million years. The Motherwell player threw himself to the ground trying to win a penalty. It was almost the last minute. And just to go back to all the missed chances, the problem was Gary, it was basketball the game at that point. And every time we missed one of these chances, Motherwell came all the way up to the other end, and you were thinking to yourself, oh my God, we're about to throw away 3 points. It was absolute heart attack stuff when it didn't need to be. The game should have been killed off so many times in that last 10 minutes. It wasn't just chances. It was the wrong decision, the wrong pass at the wrong split second, the bad finishes. Everything about it was absolutely terrible. And Hull would never scored a second goal. Rowe must have been pulling his absolute hair out, but we got the win. So all of that's forgotten about. But if we had drop points and it was 1-1, there would have been some investigation at the end of that match how we never took at least one of them 4-on-1, 3-on-2, 5-on-2. It was just chaos at the end, and you've got to take the chances because it will in the future come back to bite us, Gary, for sure.
Gary, just let's say you and Cameron put on the day on social media about the penalty. We're I think it was Gassama against Hibs down. You get touched slightly, and that penalty. And then the Motherwell player was the same. I think both I didn't do my penalties. Yeah. He's getting a lot of abuse for that, but I think he's spot on because I think nowadays people seem to think it's if you touch somebody at all, it's a penalty. Doesn't matter if it's a slightest touch, a hard touch, doesn't matter, it's a penalty. But no every foul, no every tackle's a foul, no every foul's like hard. But for some reason, people seem to think when Rangers are involved, it is, and it's like people say we get decisions all the time. We don't. But I'm not even on Twitter that much. I've seen it briefly, but I'm not going on it as much just because I just think it's
mental.
One of my social media platforms about at this moment in time, everything's negative football-wise, and it makes the world look like a crazy fucking place. So it's not the best place to be, to be honest with you, but I don't think it was a penalty myself, but I can understand why you would. I feel with the opposition manager, because if it was our way, I would probably say we were unlucky to get a penalty, but if you look at it logically, I don't think there's enough in it for a penalty. I think the boys playing for it.
No, I don't think it's a penalty either, Scott. I think what I would say is that if the ref gives it, I don't think VAR then changes their mind and overturns it. I think it's one of those ones. I think that's the problem. So the referee made the right decision at the time, and obviously VAR didn't get involved. But if they went the other way, I don't think they'd stopped it. But anyway, the last point I want to pick up in the game is Scott. Jack Butler came for hundreds of criticism last week, rightly so, because he flung his leg out the way of a shot, cost us a big game. He was excellent yesterday. I think it's fair. I think credit when credit's due. He made 3 or 4 good saves. The one maybe about 60 minutes, 70 minutes in was a phenomenal save. The guy hits a kind of volley.
Aye.
It was a brilliant save, really strong hand. And that, if you go 1-0 down to them, I don't think we'll come back potentially.
No, we weren't, and Jack Butland played really well yesterday. Yesterday, I'm forgetting the days, and it's Monday. But no, he done really well. And listen, he admitted himself, made a mistake against Hearts, and I don't mind that if he came out and admit it. If you don't sugarcoat it, he came out and admit he made a mistake, especially the second goal, and that's fine. But we all know he's got an error in him. Every goalie does make mistakes, but usually when a goalie makes a mistake, you can see the goal. If you don't, then you're very lucky. But no, that's what he's in for. Gary didn't make saves like that, and we all know he's a good shot stopper. We've never criticised him. It's other aspects of his game we criticise, like his decision making, like coming out for the Shankland thing, coming out with your knees, not your hands. But I mean, the save he done, he get down very quickly, didn't he? Because I thought that was a goal myself. Yeah. I thought he had that. I thought that's a goal, but that was a great save, so it was. And I hope he continues it because we're going to need him next few weeks, and he knows, and his defenders know if he's playing well and confident, the defenders will be happy, and if the defenders know he's behind them, then they'll be more confident as well. And I like to say, I mean, we've criticised Big Fernandez with a few things about we defending and all with the Hanging United game. I mean, what game was he turned his back and the ball when the ball came in? Was that United? Remember the cross? Or was that European game?
It was in European. It was against
But I have to say, the last couple of games I think he's looked okay, and I thought on Saturday he looked okay again. He's getting more confident in the ball. His passing's getting slightly better. You can see he's actually talking to people and he's pushing people up. He's telling to go. He's talking more, and he's getting stronger in his tackles. And I think maybe playing with somebody next time like Sterling, and it's helped him. But maybe Suter coming back as well. I still think there's a player there. Yeah, he's still a bit raw, but I can see there's a player there. I'm quite happy about that. Whereas Jiga's never going to be our player, so I'd rather concentrate on Fernandez playing minutes. If Suter's fit and Sterling's fit, then Jiga come back into the side. But I have to say, I'm quite impressed with the boy, because he could have had again Gary after a couple of bad performances, a couple of mistakes, coming back into a shell, but he's still there trying to improve himself and show people he's not a bad defender. And I quite like that. We just don't usually see enough in opposition boxes like we started it, and we kind of came away from it again.
I think the problem is, I suppose it goes back to what I was saying at the very start of the pod. Every player makes mistakes, whether it be Butland, Fernandez, Chamiti, whoever they all do. But we're in such a kind of negative state of mind that we constantly pick up on the negative points as opposed to the things they're doing well. So, Fernandez has improved over the last couple of games. Chamiti has probably improved in terms of his performances, despite the fact he can't shoot. Gisama was decent, and as you say, Sterling's done quite well. Butland will make the odd mistake. But we do concentrate on a lot of the negative things, and it's probably been the mindset we've had since the last 12 to 18 months, really, isn't it? Since things started to go wrong under Clement. Because I think, there was something that I was thinking about today, right? So in the last 10 games, Rolls, it's 7 wins, 2 draws and a defeat. 7 wins, 2 draws and a defeat. So 23 points out of 30. Now, if you extrapolate, I like flinging a big word when I'm doing these podcasts, extrapolate that out for the rest of the season, that would give you something like 90 points, right? On an average, that would give you around about 89, 90 points, which is probably not far off title winning material over the course of a season. But despite the fact we've probably had that reasonably good record, the one defeat within that, it's probably not translated into a feel-good factor yet because of where we've been at the start of the season. If that makes any sense, Ricky?
Yeah, I think the performances as well, Gary. We're no kidding on. We're not sitting on a podcast. I do agree with what you said at the start, that some podcasts are going over the top with negativity, and it's like bang, bang, bang. Once you start, it's easier to bang that negative drum than it is the happy drum, mate. And nobody's sitting on this pod pretending that we're suddenly turned into Barcelona. We've got the best defensive record in the league now. We've got something to build on. Some of the players that we've been criticising. I've always think we're quite fair on this pod. I've slagged Gassama all season. I think he's been absolutely rotten. But on Saturday, I thought we could see something in there. I still think we need to see a lot more from Asgard for sure. I still think he was okay. He got the goal, but I still think he's on the periphery of the game. Yeah, he's got more to give. But do you stick with him and play Moore in a free role? And then play with like Gassama as one winger and Asgard more as like we McCulloch used to, with that big man on the wing. So you've got them, they three complementing each other. You try that. I agree with what Curry put earlier on. For me now, with these games coming up, you put Sterling to right back. Suter might not be fit enough to play 90 minutes. He's probably not just now. He's just came back into the team. But I would like to see Sterling at right back, Suter and Fernandez together, and Magoma at left. It's mad that we've only got one left back, by the way, and we're flogging this kid to death. What is it with us flogging kids to death? It's basically slave labour on that left-hand side of the pitch in the left-back position, mate. It's incredible. What is going on? You need to give this guy help. That should be the first signing in January. Should be an experienced left-back that's decent to help him out. So many options out there available for 1.2 million, good Scottish options. Scotland has always been blessed in the left-back position. We've probably got 5 or 6 that are good enough to play for Rangers. And we've got one kid playing that's on loan from England. It's madness. But if you can get them 4 working as a unit, as a defence, and then keep this clean sheet thing going, not all of them are able to play 90 minutes. So you need players to come in and help them out. And then the midfield, if you drop Diamande, as I said, and play Moore in the 10 with Raskin and Barron behind that, and try and get something going there. Up front is a weird one, Gary, because I agree it's difficult to play Miovski with the way that we play because we don't create any chances. So the guy's a bit pointless. It's like I can see where Rolls' thinking is with playing Shermiti. He doesn't score goals. He's no threat on the goal. But he's actually the way that we
game
play,
is decent.
His actual game compared to Miovski, because we don't create chances. So you maybe need something more from your striker just now. until you build a team that actually creates the right sort of chances for Miovski. And maybe Rowe can see that, and that's why he's picking him ahead of Miovski. I still think Miovski is the better striking option, and I would like to see Shermity go on loan. So there's interesting things that we're going to see over the next few weeks. But if we can get to this Celtic game, they seem to be picking up results under this new guy now and playing this way, but I still think they're quite shaky at the back and stuff like that. So, but if we'll see once we get to January, then Penrice on loan for me would be superb. I think he was sensational at Hearts. If we can pull that off, that would be absolutely brilliant. So that's the sort of player we should be looking to sign on a permanent, no loan. But if it is that, I think that would be great. So, and see where we are. We'll have to see. It's always been the same. It's this block of games until we play Aberdeen in the second match. It's going to be very interesting to see the league positions and the points that we've all got. And I think after that, for me, once we play Aberdeen the second time, let's see how many points we've got, Celtic's got, Hearts has got, how many games in hand, and that will tell us if we've got a realistic, I would say, outside chance of competing for the title. Because if we can keep just churning out wins and we manage to stay in the race, it'll be fabulous. But Roll's doing a great job with these players, mate, to be honest with you. And hopefully, Kavanagh seems like he's keen to be hands-on and help him in January, and that needs to be the case. So let's give the American a second chance and see if they can pull some rabbits out the hat and give Roll a fighting chance in this title race.
Yeah, and if you're being optimistic, if we win the next 4 games, we're likely to probably be up top of the league, pretty much there. If you lose some of those 4 games, you're likely to be out of the league. You know, it's one of the other. You know, so there's as you say, the next 4 games will determine where we're really at in terms of there. But it does move us nicely onto the transfer window, which opens in 40 hours. Is that be right? Don't know what date we're on. Is it 30th of the or 60 odd hours? Scott, so there's been rumours about Finlay Curtis and Lyle Cameron potentially going on loan, looking for game time. You're obviously a big fan of Finlay, who should have probably scored on Saturday. But your thoughts on generally speaking, these rumours come with some foundation. They don't come from nowhere. So there does seem to be some talk around where them going on loan may be a good option.
I don't think I'll go on loan unless we get people in to replace them. I don't see them just getting sent out for the sake of getting sent out. I think we'll only go out the door if we've got replacements. There's no point in putting guys out the door and weakening the squad even more. I think Leo Cameron's been unlucky with injuries and other things happening, and then he wants to play. But to me, I still have a place there for him because I feel with Theo not playing that well, I think unless the manager doesn't fancy him, I think I can only be the other option. The manager maybe doesn't fancy me, maybe the manager's type of player. Finlay does need game time. I don't think Finlay will leave as in permanently. I think he may go on loan, and scoring goals elsewhere might help him. But it's all ifs and buts. It depends who we get in. I think people are expecting as soon as it hits the 1st of January we're going to sign somebody. I don't think that'll happen. But I don't want us to sign players at the end of the month either. And you've played your 4 games, and you could be out of it, and you're bringing in bodies. So I think there has to be a kind of happy medium where we can bring in 1 or 2 very early on. But I don't think I'll be very surprised if it's before the Celtic game, unless we've got somebody under wraps who is there ready just to come as soon as it turns 1st of January. We can get them done. But I'll be very surprised if that's the case. Do you know what I mean? So I'll bring in a left back. I've said that for our left, but we need a left back. We need another midfield. I think we need a 6. I think we need somebody. Cameron, Connor Barron does superbly, but I need somebody. Probably what we wanted Rothwell to do, but he never, to actually kind of look at the play and dictate where they were going. Slow the play down at times and speed up at times for us. We don't have anybody like that. And we do need a striker, but every team looking for a striker, they're very hard to come by. And you're looking for somebody to come in who's physical, who's big, who can score goals. And no many teams want to get rid of their strikers, do they, for scoring goals? So it's going to be somebody that's not playing well, or somebody that wants off the wage bill. So I don't know if there are other players saying loans again, but I don't know if we could bring loans in. I'm not sure how the loan market works because I know we've got quite a few loans.
Have so many, you know, I know something like 6 or something is the maximum you can have.
Giga's loan for me could probably get terminated. I know it might cost us money. Cornelius says I don't know if he's going to be back anyway.
He's going to be back to March anyway, is it, at least? I think.
March, isn't he? So, and Aarons as well. I don't think Aarons has to be here. I don't think he offers anything. Like Aarons, I think he's poor. I think for how poor Tab has been, I would still pick Tab before Aarons.
No.
Because I don't think Aarons offers nothing, but we need to bring players in, and I'm just hoping they can look at the whole market, not just down south. I hope they can spread their net quite wide, because there is bargains out there. There is players we've not heard of who can come up here and do a job. I just don't want them to think, right, we'll go back down to the Championship and bring players up. I think that's lazy journalism. I think it's lazy scouting with Rangers if we do that. Considering there's so many players out there. I mean, somebody mentioned Norwegian League, there's Danish League, there's all these different leagues. Guys just want a chance to come and play using Scotland as a stepping stone. That wouldn't bother me. Somebody signing for Rangers, thinking if I play well for a year, 1, 2 years, and then move to England, I'd be happy with that. Boomstrong done it. Do you know what I mean? I'd be happy with that, just so they can come here, make us a bit of money, and move away. It's a win-win situation. We get somebody who's playing well and make a bit of money, and we can keep going for there. So, Bowie at Hibs is ideal for me. I like Kieran Bowie, but I don't think Hibs is helping us. I think if we went from the Celtic went from, I think when I Scott Allen type of thing, I think it would end up. They would ask us for 4 and I say for 3. Do you know that way? That's the way it worked.
You're probably right. So Ricky,
what about the guy for? Sorry, Gary, the Motherwell guy scored an absolute screamer today in the African Nations. The guy from Motherwell, the big striker. Yeah, he scored an absolute rasper the day in the African Nations. Right, you're looking at him. He's everything you just said. He's everything that Shermitty should be. Scores goals, holds the ball up. An absolute great find from Motherwell from absolutely nowhere. You'd probably get him for less than 2 million. That's the sort of player for me.
He's not going to come in the new, is he? Because he's playing in AFCON.
After AFCON's finished, we need 3.
There's a million names, Ricky. There's a million names. But Scott said the left back, central midfield, and striker. Any changes? So if your 3 players wing sign those positions, are any different?
To me, Gary, I think that Rowe has to be looking at the big picture, and we as supporters have to be looking at the big picture, mate. It's about. He's got to look. I think he's already said that in his press conference. He's already said to Andrew Kavanagh for this guy that's going to be doing the actual transfers to ask the players, do you want to come? Yes or no. If they say maybe, move on. Maybe, move on. Maybe, move on. So for me, he's got to sit down with his recruitment team. It's all right, like you said, us mentioning a million names and stuff like that. They should have a list of players that they really want to bring, that they know is going to improve us. And for me, this has got to be looking at what can we do in January? Is it going to guarantee much better than the players we've got in the squad just now that are going to improve the starting 11? That shouldn't be that hard. But the big picture should be moving into the summer for a complete rebuild of the squad to get enough freshness in it to be able to challenge for the title. So if we can turn over 3 or 4, maybe 5 players, get out and bring in 5 players in January that are better, and we can see that, and we sort of get close to the title or challenge for the title the second half of the season, for me, that would be the perfect scenario to come out of the January window. But for me, it's a big picture moving into the summer. Try and get a few in January. We know how difficult it is. No more taking risks. I think you could bring in the best player in the world that's 21-year-old from Denmark or from Sweden. But until you sort out the spine in the leadership group in our dressing room, it's a complete waste of time, because they're just going to fall into that same pit of absolute crap we've been watching for the last since 55 season. I think you need to look at the leadership group, the spine. You need to sort out the dressing room. And you need to try, it needs to be a complete rebuild brick by brick. So try and do as much as you can in January, like I just said, but don't be looking at the big picture overall. Don't just go and sign players for the sake of it, because for me, 6 months could completely damage Rowe and completely damage him. We could be looking at the summer where fans are starting to turn on him and he's signed maybe 3-4 players and they look as bad as the players that we've just let go, because it's so difficult for them to settle with the crap that's at Rangers already. So it's going to be a very difficult window, and I just hope that we get it right, Gary. That's my main concern. I want to see improvement, And I want to see us. I never wanted to see us go back to the season we've had in Europe again, because Thursday nights used to be so much fun, and getting battered and getting tanked every Thursday night is absolutely brutal as a Rangers fan. Apathy on Thursday nights at Ibrox is not what we want to see next season, that's for sure, Gary.
We need some experience brought in. We can't. Young players are fine, but we lack experience at this moment in time in this team.
Yeah, very young squad in general. There's a very young squad.
Even if it's an experienced guy for 18 months, just to help us, like Stephen Davis coming in done.
Yes.
I'm not even talking Scott Arfield because he's struggling badly at Falkirk.
No.
Scott Arfield was a great player for Rangers, but he's done, and he's 37-year-old.
Kenny McLean would be ideal, but Kenny McLean's going to cost you a lot of money because he's still under contract at Norwich. But somebody along the lines would be an ideal signing for us at this moment in time.
Yeah. So that we will know, obviously, when the transfer window opens, it'll be silly season. There'll be players linked and players going out. We may even see the players like Rabbi Matondo and Kieran Dowell and that move on. Probably not, though. I'm sure they'll stick it out for a bit longer.
Cardiff are seriously looking at Matondo by all accounts, but
who?
Cardiff.
Who?
Cardiff. Where I know where they'll find them. They'll find them at the treatment table. There. You can have them find them quite easily.
He's Welsh, isn't he, and stuff like that.
Yes,
So he really plays Welsh. So I'm just talking he might take him. They're in League One in England, so I think he could probably do a job there, to be honest with you.
No, I'm sure. He's got a level of ability. He's just not getting any fitness or ability to stay fit from there. So, and he's not going to spend 4 years. It'll be come summertime at Rangers doing very little. So, I'm not going to waste much more time talking about him. So, the last 5 or so minutes in the pod, we're playing St.Mirren tomorrow night at 7:45. Full card except Hearts. So, our game in hand is tomorrow night. I think if that's right in some ways. Don't know why Hearts aren't playing tomorrow night. So, we ourselves and Celtic will draw level in games and reach the midway point in the league after tomorrow night. We play St. Mirren. Scott, you're a Paisley man. Paisley's been buzzing for the Premier Sports champions over the last couple of weeks. But despite that, they've not actually been doing that well in the league. I don't think the league form's been pretty patchy.
Yeah, it's been up and down. Listen, they're still going to cause us a few problems tomorrow night. They have a physical side, they get in your face. They've got boys up top who can open up the park with their legs, and they could come and win, Gary. We could also play well and win 2 or 3-0. I think it's one of the games, whoever turns up, but it will be difficult. I mean, no team comes to Ibrox now with any fear, because I all think they can get something. So I just think we're going to have to turn up tomorrow night, because we're on a physical side. And like I say, they've got pace up front with 2 big lads up front. So it will be a decent game. I'm just wondering who will go with. Does he stick to the same lineup, or will he make a few changes? I think he's going to have to make a couple of changes, but I wouldn't make too many, to be honest with you. I'm no one for constantly changing the team all the time. I think you have to give some of the lads a run of games to see what they can do. You just can't bring somebody in and then say, right, you're out now, I'll bring somebody else in. I don't think that helps players' confidence either.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, I suppose, sticking with that, so St. Mirren's got a physical team, to say the least. When I watch them, was it Bill Big? Was it Alunga and Michael Mandron and whoever the other guy is? The guy scored a couple of goals in the final. Big, strong, robust strikers that hold the ball up, and then the rest of them kind of flood in the sides. That we are not the most physical at times, and that's maybe. Do you think we try and match up and put a bit more strength in the middle of the park, or right throughout the team?
I don't you have to match up with someone. I think you can beat them football-wise, because a lot of the stuff they do is they soak a lot in. I just seen when they win the cup, they can soak in, hit you in the break, and because they like to play the long balls and stuff. I think we just play our own game, Gary. Don't worry about anybody else. If we can play at a good tempo, get an early goal, then I think we can win quite comfortably. But if we don't, the longer the game goes at 0-0, they can hit us in the break. They can score a goal and then shut up shop, because that's what they can do. I mean, they weren't great against Kilmarnock by all accounts, so, and Kilmarnock aren't the greatest side at this moment in time either, so you just never know. Someone's going to, they're going to turn up with a bit of confidence because they've come to Ibrox before and get results. So, but I just think we look at ourselves, Gary, and fed up with other teams, because all other teams can probably come and beat us because we're no great shapes at times. But I think if we just continue the way we can play, like the way we finished the game on Saturday, just take it for there. I think we have to concentrate on ourselves now. Stop giving other teams a lot of respect, because some don't deserve it. even though they're decent. Some don't. You should concentrate on yourself. And if you get beat, you get beat. But if you can put in a decent performance, then in the day, Rangers should win against most teams if you can put in a decent performance.
So I'll come back to you in a moment, Scott. Thank you your team lineup, because I'm going to come to Ricky now just to see. You're going to be in Keith tomorrow night, Ricky. Do you know, sampling
Yes.
all the kind of drinks that Keith has to offer. And an hour away from Ibrox, you will be watching the game, I'm assuming, still, despite the fact you're on family time. What's your thoughts tomorrow?
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. I'll be watching the game. My best mate's a big Rangers fan as well, so looking forward to catching the game. For me, it's like we spoke about earlier. I just think you need to make two changes. I would put Sterling at right back, and I would drop Diamande. I would drop Diamande and Tavernier. I would put Sterling at right back and bringing back Suter in defence with Fernandes. I think the midfield is okay with Barron and Raskin, but I would like to see Moore playing just ahead of them. And then I would keep Asgard on the right, Gassama on the left, and Shermiti up front, only because, like we said, we don't create the chances that we need to for Miovski yet. So until we have the players to be able to do that, that's what I would like to see tomorrow. And I think just the two changes can make a massive difference, because Sterling is like a buzz bomb getting up and down that wing. And if we're struggling in midfield, if they're overpowering us at midfield, then you can easily move Sterling back into the centre of defence, or even in the number 6 position. And he'll give you that dig in that position. And so you've got a lot of options. Sterling's a great player to have back in the squad if we can keep him fit, because he can play in so many positions. He's a fabulous player to have in your squad. He really is. So the only problem is keeping him fit. But so that's the way I would like to see us line up. I agree with Kerr. Okay, we've no beat St. Mirren in 4 matches, but I wouldn't be worrying about that. Just go out, play our game, just get the win. Don't worry about anything else. I was sprinkling some magic. My wife's Greek, so she was sprinkling some magic in the dressing room, some voodoo shit. So we're definitely going to beat St. Mirren. So that's the plan. So just go out, get the victory, and hopefully Motherwell do us a favour. And if they can take some points off of Celtic, then it would be 6 a foot behind Hearts, 3 behind Celtic, and great going into that New Year's game, being able to catch them if we beat them with an incentive. That would be normally for these players, know that they give you much confidence that they can win a big game, but it would set them up with another big game and give them another opportunity. So that's what the team should be aiming to do tomorrow, Gary.
Yeah. Scott, so I'll give you a bit of time there. So Ricky said 2 changes. So Suter and Moore for Tav and Diamande, I think it was the 2. You any difference on that?
Probably the same. I'd probably keep it the same. I would get Gassama on the right, but and put Asgard on the left. I think Gassama offers more for the right hand side. Sterling, I bring it, put him at right back, give Tav a rest as well. I think he's got to bring Suter back, because if he's going to want Suter back for
No firm game.
Then I think you've got to give him game time. You can't just shove him straight back into that to see how John goes. And listen, see, that team should be enough, Gary, to beat St. Mirren. St. Mirren play 3 at the back, obviously going into a 5. Gogic is sitting just in front of the 3 at the back, and you've got a boy Phillips who does a hell of a lot of running. He put a lot of hard challenges. The boy's a good player. You get 2 boys up front who just run all day for you. They just hit the channels with the balls and run all day. Ball over the top. They've got us out a few times with the ball over the top. Not just St. Mirren, but a few teams, so we have to watch that. So, and Suter's, if he's back, he's been caught with it before. He think he got a bit last season against St. Mirren, so you just have to be careful. You know what they're going to do? They're not going to give you any. They're not going to mix it up and give you surprises and attack you like Motherwell have come out and did. They're going to play at their strengths, and that's in transition. Gogic is sitting in front of the back 4, flinging himself in front of everything, tackling everything, heading everything. So we have to be clever. Move the ball quick, keep the ball on the deck. And I like Miovski, but I would start Shermiti just because he plays 3 at the back. So you have to go with him up top.
Yeah. So, Scott, score prediction. See, I've seen lots of 1-0s, 2-1s, things like that.
I'm going to go 3-1 Rangers. I think we're going to score a couple of goals tomorrow night. I'm hoping still trying to be there if I can. I'm wanting to it, but I'm hoping I can maybe get away if I can. So I'll watch it when I go home. But I think Saturday's performances gave them a bit of hope that they're creating chances. If we weren't creating chances, it'd be different, but we're creating. So I just think we bit of luck, we can get a few goals tomorrow night. I think we need it. I think that'll give us confidence, but I think we will score 3 goals. but I think St. Mirren will score as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, some
Matty will
got
score
two.
one night, Gary.
Somebody's going to score. Hold on a minute, Rick. I need you to say it again, Scott.
No way, man.
He'll score the one night just before Ricky gets back to Cyprus. I think we'll just score just to say, see you later, Ricky. I can score goals.
Yeah, my wife did some voodoo shit in the dressing room, but not that much voodoo shit, mate. She's no miracle worker, mate. She's no
He's got a wee
that guy.
parcel under his-
Aye, the oracle out of I told her to go and bless his jersey, Cyprus style, but nah, it's I'll go 2-1, and I'll say Raskin's going to score, and Moore, I'll say Moore. I hope, like you said, give Moore a free roll. We should give him a free roll and just let him be the difference maker. Let Raskin and Barron play a disciplined role. St. Mirren's not going to try and play through you. You don't need. You only need Barron really holding in that number 6 position. Sterling can go forward, Magoma go forward, just with a bit of intelligence, just press like we did after that first 20 minutes. Just try and win your headers. If you're telling me Sterling, Fernandez and John Souttar, come on, should be getting bullied from any player from the lower leagues in England that are playing for St. Mirren, then have a day off. Come on, these guys should be. Fernandez is 7 foot tall. He's almost the same size as the Walter statues, so he should be winning every header, mate. So that's what I want to see. No bullshit tomorrow. Just get the victory. Exactly. Just win, Rangers, please. Well said, Alan. Keep this good results going over the Christmas period, Gary. What about you? What's your lineup and what's your score prediction for the game tomorrow night?
Oh, I mean, much the same. I don't think there'll be many changes. Tav might drop out. I'm going to say I'm not a big fan of Sterling. I never have been, never will be. Probably don't think he's particularly. I think he's overhyped often. Maybe that's because he's constantly injured. But I do think he needs to keep getting game time. And now Souttar needs to get some game time. I'd like to see the idea of Asgard, Moore, and Gassama as a front three that can all move about. Sorry, playing behind the striker.
Yes,
they're all technically good. They're all got ability on the ball. They should all have a free roll effectively to move from across the pitch.
Yeah, Gary, you're right. They shouldn't be. You shouldn't like you play left, you play middle, you play right.
I agree.
Just go.
They should be able to, and the type of players they are that will actually suit them. For as much
Yes.
So I'd like to see. So much the same. I mean, there might be odd change here or there, but nothing massive other than what you've talked about for there. In terms of win, I'd love to say we're going to score a few goals. The problem is we don't look like players that are often going to score. So I will go 2-0. Another clean sheet, 7 clean sheets out of 11. And that'll keep us up with that outstanding defensive record that's been mentioned a few times tonight.
And Big Sherman will score.
And Big Sherman will score. I like him. I've been saying since he signed, I think there's something there in terms of ability. In terms of shooting, it's woeful. But in terms of actual rest of his game, you can see a wee bit flashes of something that's decent there.
You just want to see him in a dress at Edmiston House. That's all it is, man. Like his hero.
Oh, Calvert Lewin. I'm trying to think what you're saying there.
Like his
That
hero.
was something totally different.
Catwalk at Edmiston House.
Well, look at Dominic Calvert-Lewin. His best form he's been in years, isn't it?
He's banged in 7 and 8 games for Leeds in the final table. Fark was struggling for a while there. It looked like he was away to get the sack, and he's turned that right round. So well done to him.
Yeah. So we're coming to the end of the pod. It's a wee bit slightly extended because we're in the festive period and we've heard all about Ricky's trip in Scotland so far. So we will be back. I don't know when we'll be back. When is Friday? Friday's the 2nd of January. We'll come back Friday night to preview the Celtic game, or we'll.
It's entirely up to you. If you want to come back on Friday, I'll come back on Friday.
We'll maybe do a Friday night to preview the Celtic, upcoming Celtic game on the Saturday. And
will you be, Ricky? Will you still
Ricky,
be drunk?
will you be in the country? Will you be in another country?
I'll be in Edinburgh the night before I travel. So try and jump on, boys. I'll be in a hotel. I've got crazy kids and stuff like that, so I might not be able to make it. They're trying to get in the night. They all want to be YouTube stars. They're only 6. I'm telling them, mate, we're no YouTube stars. Nobody recognised us on Saturday, mate. We're no famous yet. We're no famous yet. So trying to keep them out the room, mate. But no, great. Happy New Year, everyone, by the way, when it comes, man. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone has a great time over the festive period from myself and
I would echo that on behalf of the pod. So it's from all of us here, Happy New Year. Hopefully 2026 is better from a Rangers persuasion than 2025 has been. And hope you all have a great time with your family, friends, whatever you may be doing. And we will see you later on in the week. Scott, I don't know if you wish to do likewise.
I'd just like to say everybody, like you said, Gary and you, Ricky, Happy New Year to everybody. Hope next year's better for Rangers and better for everybody in general. And this year has been, because this year's not been great for myself. I know, Gary, it's not been great for you either. And, I just hope for next year's a lot better than this year's been. So all the best, everybody.
Yeah, take care, and we will see you in 2026. Bye now.